Okay, guys, I think there's like 7 of you in this class that have not tested for black belt yet. This is a good one for all of you, but also everybody else in the gym that is coming up through the ranks and have not yet tested for black belt, that you need to be putting in the time. And I need to see you here. I know schedules and, hey, you're making 2 times a week, you're doing way above the average of anybody else in the country. Most people are sitting on their butt after work, or letting their hitting snooze in the morning, whatever it is. You've got to make it a priority. If you think you're going to test for black belt by kind of coasting through, on your 2-day-a-week schedule, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. And again, yeah, maybe you're doing some stuff outside of class, but man, do I need to see you in my class, in Ben's, Brady's, other black belts in the gym. You need to be making it a priority that you're getting in and training. You have to train. I was telling the instructors this morning, over 10 years ago, I had 20,000 hours on a heavy bag, right? And equally or more shadow boxing, right? As workouts, right? In there and, very conservatively going, how many times in a week do you think I teach, all right, basic punch combos? Let's just keep it really low, because I don't want to inflate this number. Like everything else in this country, okay? That I want to keep this number low. And that was 10 plus years ago in there. And that goes for upper level black belts. You think you're going to make, 2nd degree, 3rd degree. I can't test you for 4th. You'd have to go train for John. I don't know if I'm going to do 5th. It took me so long to get there, and how many hours I had for that. Yeah, there's a lot to train. I recognize that. You can be quite content at brown belt, because I'm looking at a brown belt. If you're happy there and you're training 2 days a week, you are so much better than the average person. Like, hey, I don't want to push myself. I don't maybe want to spar that hard. Right? Maybe one day you just get a black belt because you've earned it, old school. Right? I don't particularly like to do that. I've only done that one time in all of my years of instruction. I forget how many years now, Krav Maga. It's got to be 22, something like that. Maybe 23 years of just Krav Maga. So I've only done it one time. So if you have that hopes, like, odds are not with you. Odds are not with you. So step it up. You've got to step up your training if you expect to test for black belt. And I know, time. It sucks. It sucks. Maybe you want to start an affiliate of Rocky Mountain down south somewhere. Then you get a lot of training. I know I'm in and on the floor, and that's how I've accumulated a lot of my hours by being a gym owner. But if you expect to get to that level, you need to put in that much time in there. And a lot of it was just personal time. That heavy bag was my personal workouts. It wasn't like, oh, there's a Peaceful Warrior class, let me hit Thai pads with them. I didn't even factor in any of that into my hours. So get in there, train. You got to push yourself. And again, I'm perfectly happy. I've got a guy, I think he's red belt, perfectly fine. Keep getting good. I think I can defend my family. I, don't want to do what's expected of a black belt. I don't want to stop smoking or anything else, or work more on my cardio, whatever it is. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not going to be disappointed. Like, you're still training, you're still good, right? That's awesome. But if you expect to get to black belt, expect otherwise. I think I was telling you, if you just already tested for black belt, maybe you're slightly luckier, because I'm more grumpy this year or something. I don't know. But I'm kind of seeing some coasting. And that's too, I had a conversation with some black belts, that you're coasting. And that you might be in maintenance mode, and that's perfectly fine. Right? Like Big Jordy just had the baby in the last 2 years. Like, you might be in that phase of your life that you're maintaining, and that's perfectly fine. But if you're thinking 3rd degree, you're going to need to step it up. Coasting and just being here is not going to be enough. You've got to be pushing yourself, because I've definitely coasted. I've definitely had injuries, right? But as I say, it took me 10 years to get my first degree. So most people here are on track of 4 or 5. So I have no sympathy of you're gonna have to wait another year. Hey, maybe there was an injury, whatever it may be. Maybe I was coasting, but if I continue to see you coast, no. I'm not gonna be eligible, not gonna get a test. Comments? You sure? Because I love comments, but that's just where I'm at with what I'm seeing lately in the gym. Because like Ben's group, they were all getting together, they were freaking training, they were in class. Most of them are on maintenance mode, right? In there, how many times they're coming in, and that's perfectly fine because you're maintaining, you're not accelerating in there. And that's why even too, like I want you guys teaching Peaceful Warrior versus me, so you guys at, especially the second degree, but even first degree, teaching some Peaceful Warrior classes and working with more advanced students and taking them to a higher level so you can get to a higher level as well. So that, that's, still a big part of it. Teaching is still a big part of it. And yeah, that's really good, but it's not hours on the bag, right? It's not hours doing other things. It's not like what's coming up next. Hey, let's do just some grappling. Let's just do some stand-up. And it doesn't have to be super hard all the time. Do I expect you to be tough at black belt? Yes, and that's generally in testing. We don't need to beat each other's brains in and create, injuries by really torquing on somebody in an arm bar or anything like that. But you still need to be getting in and doing those sparring classes. I see a lot of people not putting in the time in those things. So, and that's really what, we had this class after it that Brandon was doing before he hurt himself, that I've taken over, and it was designed as a fight class, but most people are staying. So we're just bringing it down to a half hour, maybe 45 minutes in there because people have already trained. They're not coming in just for fighting like I had hoped. Like, oh, I'm going to come in just to fight. So, Peaceful Warrior should almost default be staying. Like, I think I did it last week. I just started doing the fight class and didn't say anything. And then anybody that's like, oh, I gotta go, I let them say, I have to go. I just snuck it in there and just rolled it in, because if you think you're getting a black belt without sparring, again, you got another thing coming. You got to be putting in that time and putting in those classes. It's where years ago, Pam, our super old manager, people were like, she's so good. I'm like, because she's at my classes all the time. She's sparring 2-3 times a week. Of course she's kicking your butt in testing, because you're coming once a month if you're lucky. So, some stuff to consider. And again, hey, I'm just happy you're here getting a little bit better and sucking a little bit less. You don't have to go to the extreme that I have gone. But it's certainly the example I'm trying to set, right? In there. All right, guys, 3, 2, 1. All right, if you're staying